Hey guys, BlackBart here, bringing you a build guide on one of the stupidest characters I've made in this game so far. We're actually critting in the first patch up of the beta for up to 33,500 crits super consistently. So, and the way that we do this is one, we have ridiculous gear, and two, we're taking advantage of quite a few things in this game. So we're going to start off with a passive skill tree. It's a little all over the place, but it gets me the most damage that I can do and still stay alive consistently. You can squeak a little bit more damage in here, but it's not really worth it. So anyway, we're going to start off down here, moving into the ferocity tree down on the soldier, picking up ferocity nodes, crit chance nodes, and coming over here for the crit hit damage. This is massively important. This 20% crit hit damage. You're going to squirt over here, pick up the 15% max health. It's just far better than any additional damage or any other survivability, so 15% health there. Coming up through ferocity, up through here to this major node, 3% damage per physical resistance percent right now is a little overpowered. And I'm assuming it's going to get nerfed later, but for now, you might as well take advantage and get about, let's see, I think I'm running, what, 70% physical resist? Oh, 40%. I mean, I guess I could go a little higher there. But 40% times 3 is 120% increased damage. It's pretty silly. From there, you're going to scoot across. These kind of seem like wasted points-ish, but this is massive. 25% crit hit damage. And then you're going to come up here, grab some more toughness, and dodge chance to get these two nodes, because this is quite a lot of damage as well. 10% and 10% material damage. From there, we'll take a look at the skills we're going to use. And we'll just kind of narrow it down here. We have our leap, which is Wings of Ishmar. Since we attack so slow, you're going to want to have flight speed increase on it as well as rage generation. This whole build is built around rage being your main damage. From there, I use the pull, although it's not 100% necessary. And you can do it in two different variations. One pulls you to the final target location. You can actually use it to advance through the rifts faster. Or you can just pull everybody and stun them. That's kind of an oh shit. If you need to get a quick stun off, it'll last a second or two and usually allow yourself enough time to be able to use another skill or heal or something like that. So it's a pretty good skill there. Sovereign Shout. This is post nerf, so it did get nerfed, but we are still going to use the increase in physical in all resist because it does increase our damage, as well as weakening targets, which increases our damage further. We're going to use this mainly on bosses and to get rage from time to time. The main damage dealer in this is the most overpowered skill in the game at the moment. I personally have increased area of effect here because I've been doing speed runs. But projectile speed makes it spin faster and it lasts the same time, so it actually does more overall DPS. This is better for pushing higher rifts. This is better for just fast clear stuff. And then the final one over here is a mandatory, you gotta have it at level 20, and axes keep spinning on a short duration. Most of you guys have seen this stuff by now, and it's just this guy, and I can move away from it and it continues to do what it does. So I'll launch one of these and then I'll move on and let everything run into it and keep going. This is the thing that crits for 35k, 33k. Aside from that, I don't really use anything else. You can do a variation of this where you use this skill right here, Mark of Impunity, to kill, especially when you're less geared. You can throw this on one mob with these last two skills, and they basically, it makes Mark of Impunity propagate on death and then detonate based on HP. So you start killing some of the lower stuff, and they like cascade kill everything in a group. This is really powerful, but you have to have at least one dagger in your hand. And so you use a dagger, and then you use a mace or an axe, or a sword, and then you can use bleeding edge. And this in combination makes it really easy for clear. So that is an opportunity, an option to get more damage out of your bleeding edge. You have to get rid of the dagger, and then, like if you're in a group, have one of your pistol runners or somebody else use a dagger, like your tank. Have your tank use a dagger if you have a tank. But usually you just put it on a pistol. They have a lack of skills anyway, so they need to use their rage. They just throw that up, you hit one target, or leap onto a target and hit it for 5-6k, and boom, you'll detonate the entire group. It's pretty fun. Anyway, moving on to the attributes. I still have not locked in on exactly what I want. For survivability, I think you still want to stick with a combination of these two here, although I have all of mine dumped into agility for speed, because you can see here I still have negative attack speed even with almost 300 agility here. But my dodge score is really high, so I dodge quite a lot of stuff, and this is without uniques that add to dodge, except for these. I thought this one does. Dodge chance score is increased, but there's a amulet you can wear if you need more dodge than that, or to fill in the gaps. That's helpful as well too, and I can show you that. But that's the attribute points. I usually just pull this up, kind of look at the damage as I go through, and kind of figure out where I want to be. I want really high dodge so I don't get hit as often, so I just dumped it all here. You will gain damage from toughness. In my case, I had enough ferocity to still have 33% crit. I don't really need to go higher than that. You can if you want, but whatever. So I'm sitting somewhere around 4,250 flat damage, and this is with ridiculous gear. You should be sitting somewhere around 2,500 with mostly yellows. And obviously you can go up from there. The main starter, as far as probably the easiest thing to get going and the biggest damage increase, are going to be these rings here. Oops. Seal of the Arbiter. You want to get as high on the percentage and as low on the attack speed debuff as possible. Not hard. Any of the other stats are terrific, but not necessary. So, like on this one, I got a 60% melee, but I have a 25% negative attack speed, which is the highest it goes. So you want this one here is actually a massive DPS increase over this one, but you want two of these, so you get the best you can. I'm running O'Malley's for the magic find. You can run any other kinds of stuff here, like bunch of items and disappeared. Never mind. I don't really have a belt. I have a whole bunch of items that have been vanishing lately, so I'm not really sure what's going on with the stash. And a whole bunch of items that keep reappearing after I sell them. I've sold all these yellows like 5 times. Anyway. Anyway, we'll stick with that. The majority of your gear, you're going to want to go with items that have sockets is the #1 priority. Number 2 priority is all res on the actual item itself. And in the blue, so in your implicits, you want like health and resist. And then on your explicits, you want all res, you want material res, because those add to your damage as well as flat stats. And then you can see here, I have all res on it. This is not terrific, but it's got agility on it, so it works out. This has material resistance score, which is okay, but it had 3 sockets, so that makes it better than the other one I had. Here, material resistance score, all res. This is an item I will have a really hard time beating. Same thing on these. Attack speed score is not that big of a deal. Let's see. Here I have probably more Yeah, I have more material resistance, and you can watch my damage. I actually gained more damage out of this item here that had less of an attack speed score. People think it's like 10% is a huge deal, but it's really not. I keep that one on there because it's cool. And then I mean, you just go through all these. Attack speed score is good. This doesn't really have anything else other than all res and the agility, so pretty decent there. You want in your amulet, you can go 2 options. You can go with something like this. Oh, the item disappeared. That's what was happening to me earlier. If I stick stuff in these slots, they vanish. There is a amulet called 3 Dragons. It has dodge increase, dodge chance, and it's also got stamina regeneration on it. It's pretty good. You can put there. Or if you want to go with something like this, you want a socket on it. That's very important. You want crit damage on it. You want flat damage on it. You can have material damage on it. All those are good. Crit tax speed is not that great. Crit chance is okay, but you really want crit damage, material damage, and maybe material resist, flat damage, and then a socket. If you can get this on an Omnistar base, like this one here, it's better than the flat agility. It just adds to, I mean, basically consider it 4 times as much flat stat, which increases your base damage and increases your damage a lot, which is why we have a socket with Silverstone in it. One of these, so that you can get all attributes. These gloves are extremely good. Reduces your dash cooldown, great. Flat damage, terrific. Material damage, amazing. Agility is attack speed and dodge. These are amazing. If you can get 2 of these, fucking use them. The unique, I don't think actually makes them to where you can only have one of them on, but we'll test that when I get a second one. If I get a second one. This one took forever to get. Weapons here are pretty basic. These are very good basic items, but crit damage, attack speed, crit chance, all good. Flat damages, all good. You really want crit damage on there. And then 3 sockets. You want any of the damage modifier increases on there. Sacred damages is probably the best. That adds weakened on there, and then you want shadow damage, at least 1 on there, so that you propagate that from time to time. But that's not a huge focus. That just helps you do more damage. And I think that covers all the items. I personally have emeralds, I believe. Let's double check what these are. Yeah, emeralds, so that you get more dodge chance. And then I have 1 in here, 1 shadow gem, amethyst, I believe. Flawed sapphire, excuse me, for the leech on attacks, so that you can kind of help heal yourself. When you get very well geared, there's 1 other item that is mandatory for pushing, and it is a shoulder unique that I don't have, that heals you on rage use. It's fucking amazing. I just haven't gotten it to drop. I wish I could show it to you. It also has damage on it. It's a pretty good item. And that's about it for the build. The only other thing I'm going to show you is the other variations of this build. These nodes don't really help you out much up here, but you can go up here for leech. You can completely scrap all of this and all of these damage nodes and just start going into toughness and build flat straight toughness. You'll gain a lot of HP and a lot of survivability. You'll go up to something like 2400 HP at the cost of a little bit of damage, not much. You'll still be critting, like with my gear, you'll still be critting for 20k, 30k, or what, 20k roughly. which is insane anyway, and you'll have a shitload of HP. You can go in here for dodge and Sacred Oath for adding more weakness stacks on chance, or on block, which is okay. You can do this with a staff or with a shield variant as well, where you have a shield here, preferably a 3-socket kite shield, with the same damage nodes in here because they roll offensive sockets. And it's just a whole bunch of different variations, but this is just the one I use. And I'm kind of pushing as high as I can to get massive numbers because I like big numbers. And that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or hop in Twitch when I stream, or any of the above or below things. Anyway, catch you guys later. I guess I should probably add some gameplay footage as well, so I guess I can pull it from here, but basically you're just going to spam these two. Rage pots and watch the big ass numbers fall. Auto attacks still kind of suck. But the bleeding edge does enough damage.